Amazon,
eBay,
Overstock,
QVC,
Shopzilla,
Macy's.
and Bed Bath & Beyond.
The list goes on for online shopping. This modern way of bringing the shopping cart straight to household doors has revolutionized the shopping industry. This 21st century method of clicking and receiving products is a $329 billion industry. However, it didn't begin so effortlessly, just by selecting add to cart. The revolution of shopping began way back when Richard Sears introduced his Sears catalog in 1888. In the late 1800s, American consumers, such as farmers and housewives, bought supplies at the local feed stores and local markets. With the introduction of the Sears catalog, shopping was reformed by offering Americans the opportunity to purchase new and interesting products. The way Sears marketed their products was revolutionary, and the catalogs provided communication to city beyond the buyers' homes, and allowed to receive the goods at the local post offices. The Sears catalog gave the farmers the benefit of getting what they needed to run a farm without the hassle of travel. Telegraph stations communicated the orders, railroads shipped the goods, and the creation of 4 time zones helped with railroad timetables, reforming the way orders were placed for goods.
In 1865, the Civil War ended. Contributing factors to the North's success included President Lincoln's decision to use Morse code and telegraph to communicate war strategies with his generals. The telegraph and 1,000 miles of rail lines gave the North a competitive advantage, and the South could not compete with these revolutions. After the war, railroad and telegraph lines grew rapidly all across America. As the railroad industry boomed with Manifest Destiny leading travelers west, it became a challenge to keep track of the different timetables, especially as the setting sun increased these difficulties. 8,000 different time zones had been developed for only 500 rail lines. It had got to the point where it was nearly impossible to schedule a train, with nearly every city having a different time zone. The railroads had evolved as a major form of transportation in the growing West, as well as gaining the title of America's largest employer. Nearly 1 million Americans worked on the railroads. Then, in 1883, the continental U.S. reformed the timetable dilemma by creating 4 different time zone regions: the Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. The time zones followed the setting sun and the amount of daylight. The reform made keeping track of time and train schedules much easier. As a younger boy, Richard Sears grew up wealthy until his father lost the family fortune through speculation in the stock market. Because of this dramatic change in their income, Sears sought out to provide for his mother and sister. At 17 years old, Sears went to work for the Minneapolis and St. Louis Railway and later joined the Redwood Falls Railway Station. While working at the Redwood Falls, he overheard a local jeweler rejecting a shipment of 2,500 pocket watches. Sears decided to purchase the shipment at a discounted price. He sold his watches by selling them to station agents. Sears would send a message by telegraph advertising his watches. He waited, and the orders began to pour in, and they poured in fast. Within 6 months, Sears had sold out of his watches, and with a profit of $5,000, Sears had just made 10 times his railroad salary. In 1886, Sears used his newfound wealth to start a mail-order watch business in Minneapolis. He named his company R.W. Sears Watch Company. Within a year of the watch company's opening, he hired Alva C. Roebuck to work as a watch repairman. Railroads were continuing to expand, and Sears had realized he could use this as an advantage for sales and distribution. He took the idea and ran with it. Little did he know he would change history forever.
The very first Sears catalog was published in 1888 with a total of 32 pages. This catalog consisted of just watches. Then Sears' next annual catalog expanded to include jewelry, sewing machines, and Smith & Wesson revolvers. During the period when the catalog was being published, the word spread throughout towns and cities, and consumers, especially farmers, were able to buy the goods they needed. He and Roebuck processed over 35,000 orders a day. He delivered refrigerators, pianos, and then in 1 year, he actually sold over 100,000 sewing machines. With the profit of the purchases, Sears, Roebuck & Co. was able to expand the catalog to 196 pages in 1893. Later in the year of 1893, though, Roebuck experienced health issues and was forced to retire. Sears couldn't handle the business on his own, and Julius Rosenwald, was interested in being a part of the business and bought half of the company for $75,000. With Rosenwald's generous investment in 1897, Sears extended the catalog to 786 pages. Since the catalog was growing so quickly, they began to add more and more items. They started to include items such as sporting goods, musical instruments, saddles, firearms, buggies, bicycles, baby carriages, and men's and children's clothing. The catalog also included advertising, which gave upcoming companies ambition to further their businesses. The companies put advertisements in the catalog to promote their businesses. This boosted the economy. Sears, Roebuck & Co. continued to grow, and as they did, so did their catalog. In 1895, they added a color section to advertise items of different colors. Along with adding a color section, they also added a hardware section, which consisted of every tool a customer needed to construct a building. Not only did the Sears catalog revolutionize the way that the economy flourished, but it also helped the vocabulary and descriptive words of the advertisements. Instead of saying simple colors such as beige and red, they would make it more descriptive and say phrases such as flag red and bamboo beige. The phrases became so captivating that it drew customers to buying the product. Along with glamour words, Sears was known for their motto, Sears, Roebuck & Co., cheapest supply house on earth. This was printed on the top of every page of the catalog and also caught the attention of customers. Sears, Roebuck & Co. had become well known for the amazing deals and incredibly cheap price range, but the quality exceeded that of expectation.
You can go wrong with products, no matter where you buy them. But if you buy them at Sears, you get Sears to back you up. We're so sure your diehard will start. If it doesn't, we'll give you a jump. We'll replace kids' clothes free if they ever wear out before they're outgrown. And when things break, no other store has as many people to fix them. In these uncertain times, Sears is the store that says you can count on me.
Richard Sears once said, "Anyone noting the growth of our house, the most marvelous growth in the history of merchandising, can only explain its increase by our wonderful values we give to our customers and the pains we take to please them. This catalog is intended to be you a correct guide for economic buying. It is claimed to the most skeptical that we are in position to quote far lower prices direct from factory to consumer than your local dealer can. That we do quote lower prices is easily proven."
As the years progressed and consumer demand grew, Sears reacted by expanding and reforming his catalog to include large ticket items such as cars and real estate. With the profit earned, Sears had enough money to expand the company. He quickly relocated to Chicago in 1904. Sears had changed the cityscape for Chicago citizens by adding the Merchandise Building. Sears built the Merchandise Building consisting of almost 1 million square feet of floor space, an office building which also included half a block. The complex incorporated a printing building and a powerhouse. Over the years, Sears made many changes and expansions to the Merchandise Building he purchased in 1904. The expansions made the Merchandise Building earn them the title of the second largest building in the world. With all the money earned before and after the expansions, Sears had enough money to purchase and open their first department store in 1925. The first retail store included an optical shop, a soda fountain, and all the items featured in the catalog. For the duration of the summer in 1928, 3 more department stores were opened. From there, Sears stores opened in cities all over the United States. The catalog became a way of shopping from Sears, impacting other stores. They too were fond of the idea of publishing catalogs in addition to the amount of income Sears had obtained. The business was booming and so was the economy. As more department stores came into business, the competition started to rise. While rival companies prospered, Sears slowly started to minimize. Even though other companies have taken over, new improvements to the shopping world haven't stopped. From Morse code to Wi-Fi, Sears revolutionized the consumer's demand for access to products and goods through reliable order.